Okay, my good friends. Steve, let me know if you can hear me. I want to make sure that my audio is good and that you can hear. But can you hear me in the studio? And maybe somebody else can comment too. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, perfect. How many people do we have? Okay, we got people. All right, perfect. Thank you, Trader77. So, guys, holiday season, happy Wednesday. Um, I'm gonna be showing you some really cool stuff today. Let me adjust my screen just a little bit. I made it so that you can uh, see a different monitor that I have, but one that I think is better for presentations. So let me just do a couple of adjustments here. Whoops. Okay. And here we go. Let me just continue to do a couple of adjustments here. Okay. So today, I'm going to really be talking to you about something that I think goes very unutilized, but it is extremely powerful. Okay. And it's called scaling. So let me kind of jump right into it here. And what I'm going to do is I don't know what's going on with this chart, why it's at such small resolution. Here we go. Okay. So let me do this. You guys can see it. So for those of you, hey, Joe, great. So the downloadable software has a little bit more power in terms of customization, but the web gets you a ton, and almost all the functionality of premium is being moved to the web. So I wouldn't like be totally focused. If you're a new premium subscriber, I would simply suggest starting with the web, even on premium, and then downloading the application once you get a little bit better at it. And that's kind of what I'm going to show you guys today. But I want to focus you on why is it that you have our premium software, and how do you get the most out of it? This is really part of what I want to discuss. So where Trade Ideas differentiates itself from TrendSpider, TradingView, Ambit Broker, and all other competitors is that we maintain a gigantic data set on our cloud. And we're actually moving to Akamai Linode from Amazon, which is where we've had it before, simply for cost purposes, but the tech is the same. But our data sets, we crunch an immense amount of data every night, and we hunt for big percentage winners. How do we do that? Well, kind of like an FBI profiler, what we do is we look back in history and say, what takes place before a big move? And that is, what kind of a price action does a stock have? What kind of a volume in terms of just relative volume compared to the normal? What about options volume? There's so many filters that go underneath, but really what we want to do is we want to have it so that you guys don't have to do the programming yourself. There's no need for that. The software does it all. And I'm bringing up this quantum computing stock. Okay. So this is what we are all hunting for and what we want. On October 29th, RAI, which is what you see here in these windows and in these windows, and this is the trade you see. gave a long buy signal right here at 171 for QUBT at 149. And it took, I think, about 5 days for it to really start to develop. Okay. And so, why am I bringing this up? Because what happens in trading often, and I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I want to teach you a mistake that people make, which is very similar to how, and I think I've maybe even have brought this up last time in my live stream, but if you ever watched the movie Rounders, it was about professional poker players and how they play poker. Most traders who are very emotionally attached to outcomes need instant gratification. But poker is not such a game that serves that emotional need very well. What happens is if you buy a stock, let's say at 149, and the next day it's a little bit lower, you get discouraged. The next day it's a little bit lower, you get discouraged. And then your mindset thinks that you're losing. But instead, in professional world of active investing, what we do is we scale into positions often. For example, let's say you started with simply 100 shares at 149. And you said to yourself, well, because I'm a Trade Idea subscriber and I know the Trade Idea software hunts these types of massive gains because I've seen other ones before, and I'll show you some other ones. AGFY was one that we called in October also at $4, and it ran up all the way to 80. That's like 1,800%. So if you know the Trade Ideas is designed to do this sort of a thing, why not get in a little bit first as a feeler, like dipping your toes in, like literally buying 100 shares? Let it oscillate around and maybe it'll start moving. Like, for example, just let's say hypothetically, you got it here, you kept your 100 shares, and then it started to move. You bought another 100 and you bought another 100. Now you have 3. And then it pulled back to here, 242 from 149. This is called a pullback buy. If you're way above the price now, but you've accumulated 400 shares, and I'm speaking very small amounts of money. You're talking about $2,000, and have this thing run to 21. That's you're talking about making a year's worth of income in a month. This is the kind of stock moves that we are in to show you and to hunt. Every single one of the trades that you see here is designed based on the same concept that you see in QUBT, which is massive percentage gains. And what we're trying to show you is you can scale into them. Okay, let me bring this up right here. AGFY. This is the one that I showed you, discussed earlier. 412, not instant. It took like 3 days. But if you were smart and listen to what I'm saying here, which is scale in, buy 100, buy another 100, buy another 100. You're in 300 shares and you made potentially, 1,800%. And then it pulled way back to 25, but look at where it is now. So you now are up 100% between this low and where it made its next resistance. These are the kind of incredible moves that Trade Ideas is here to show you. This is what we do. So let's talk about how you find them, how you take advantage of them, because I really want to showcase this before I jump into sort of like what I call the power moves. Okay. So every day here, we have new signals that are generated. Okay. So let me, I'm going to switch this time frame so that you can see. I'm going to go to a 5 minute right here. and then scoot this back. Okay, is everyone able to see my screen? Just want to make sure I'm showing you exactly what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so let's talk about Beam Global, 12 times relative volume. So our software is picking up the fact that some action is happening. Look at this right here. This is the tell. In poker, this is where you're looking at the face of your competitor who's sitting at the table and he's doing like the typical facial expressions of like, I got some cards. Okay. So you see what's happening here. But if you are going all in at 330, and this is what I was saying before, you can easily potentially expect the stock to trade to 280 again and oscillate here because massive volume has happened. And if we actually come over here, let me just move this so you can read it. E-Scooter Group, Benzinia Group supercharges partnership with Clean Tech Innovations, Beam Global. So you can see the news for it. I mean, we don't know what that news will mean exactly. But my point being here is that let me show you just how, and I'm doing this in paper trading mode. But the way that you learn how to get into these stocks and stay in them is you practice in your simulated trading account. And here's how you do it. You right click, trade Beam, buy 5,000 shares, because remember, this is practice trading. So you're practicing. And here you are. You have the entry right here, and you have your stop. You can grab the stop, you can move it to where you feel comfortable. You know, this is all strictly up to you. I usually like to do this sort of a move where I'm at the moving averages. But now you have an attachment to it. I'm going to show you where I do all this stuff. So this is my Brokerage Plus, and you can go to New Brokerage Plus and open one of those up. And you don't have to be a premium subscriber to practice this stuff because, again, you can do it on other windows. I'm going to show that to you as well. But here you can see what I'm doing and how I am doing it. And I just got Beam. I'm down $9. And now I have feedback. Now I'm in it and I'm watching it in another monitor. So think of yourself when you're seeing these trades in the AI. And by the way, the reason Beam disappeared is because it's no longer profitable. So the way we show you the trades to focus on is to focus on the ones that are green. Now I have my stops in, but the idea being is focus when it's green. Here's a short signal. Right here, and goes down, retraces, and I short sold it right there. And I actually got a worse price than the AI, but that's okay. And here it's now continuing because remember, as I said before, let me show you what we're trying to accomplish. Look at this trade right here. It's in the statistics. We hunt these moves. This is why you are subscribed to Trade Ideas. And every one of these moves right here, every one of these stocks has this potential. The question is, can you stay in it? And the thing that I wanted to showcase and teach you guys today about how to stay in it, the way you stay in it is via scaling. Allow yourselves to get in small. And by the way, my position of $5,000, that's relatively small for me. That's an example of me scaling in. And it may start running and I may not add anymore because again, for me, that's also enough. But you can get in as little as 100 shares. And once you're committed to the trade, it's at a totally different uh, mindset and ballgame. So that's what I wanted to discuss. That the way that you get into these and ride them is to not go all in, poker analogy, right away on the entry. It's to get in and then scale in. Get in and scale in. That's how you do it. Get in, scale in. It's a very, very powerful way to help yourself be in stocks that you otherwise might miss. Are there any questions about that? So we do already color the volume bars. I don't have it in this setting or for the AI, but there's a tons and tons of customization in Trade Ideas Pro. If you are in here and wait, let me see. I think it's like if you're in here, there's all sorts of modified colors and stuff like that. That's not for what I'm going to be doing, but tons of customizability. And yes, we can have support help you with all of that. Oh, Trader 77, I love hearing that about the lunar. Yeah, I love making these windows for you guys. And I actually have made a couple of other ones today that I'm going to now pivot to. And let me, by the way, I want to show one more thing. Okay. Do you guys see this window right here that I'm circling? So this is our AI heads up window. Here we're displaying, like, what are you seeing? Okay, let me just kind of itemize it. Here you are seeing today's signals. These are the signals that were generated today, statistically viable AI entry signals today. But these are the historical ones that are moving in the direction of the signal. And you can sort them here. So here, for example, on the shorts, this monitor that I'm showing it to you on is a little bit, it's good for demonstration, but the problem is the resolution makes it so I have to change the size a little bit. But you can see what I'm doing. Here, look. You are at the bottom, you're looking at historical AI trades that are moving in the direction of the signal and how much the profit is up. So here you're up 60% on this one. And I'm not saying every one of these is a trade that you should get into, but this is the way you focus on what's going in the direction of the trend. Notice scaling. You can get in here, goes down, runs back up, get a little more, and now you're significantly lower. Scaling in is one of the most powerful ways that the average investor is not taught to properly trade. So how do you get TradeWave on your computer? On the web, it's, I think, on by default, but if you go to FX and hit TradeWave, right now I just turned it off, and here I just turned it back on. Do you see that? It's under FX, TradeWave, and now you can see here you're in sell signal zone, and you can see the little different oscillations of it. Did that answer your question, hopefully? Yeah, let me scroll. Okay, Iris, make sure you're on this channel. So in our channel bar, we have Holly AI, we have the longs, we have the shorts, but we have both of them together in what's called Holly AI. So we have three versions, one long, one short, and one Holly AI. If you go to that one, you will see a window that's much more analogous to what I'm showing you. But before we pivot, I want to go and kind of give you the last type of heads up. This AI is the key, by the way, again, because as I mentioned before, um, you know, Qubit, ladies and gentlemen, $1.49 to 21, you're talking about 1,400%. If you had 1,000 shares of this, come on, in a month. So, and this is what the game is about. This is the stuff they don't tell you on CNBC, and why they want to have you give your money to money managers who will never give you this. So how else do you position yourself in these great trades? This window right here. This window is a graphical, it's kind of almost like a Twitter feed of our signals that are approaching where you ought to maybe be thinking about being in them. So notice 104, it's at 116. Let's take a look. Here's what this looks like. And the signal was right here. I mean, you can see, by the way, notice it's been up 100% in 1 month, but don't get trippy on that and think it's ran, because look at this. NUKK, nucleus. Just giving you an example of what's possible. Okay. This is the stuff they do not teach you about. Iris, I think you may need to click show more. So on your channel bar, there's a show more button, and that comes in once you do that. Okay, so here we have the graphical Twitter feed of things that are setting up. So check this out. And what's so cool about this? Buy signal right here, pulled back, traded around, and just crossed. You see? With high relative volume. Airship, and that's another one. These things are 97%. Remember, NUKK was up 1,000. Let's take a look at a couple more. This is a sell signal. And you can see right here was the volume statistical breakdown, but remember scaling. Short 100 shares, ran up, pulled back, short another 100, ran up. I mean, but you're only in 200 shares, so you're not really worried about the move. You can see the trend. You can see what it's doing. And here we go. Now you're positioned in. You got a better fill somewhere around here. You're in the trade wave sell signal zone, which is confirming to you what the AI is doing, and you're getting ready to go. That's how you use our software. So the small chart appears. There's a little thing right here. It's a picture in picture. So all you have to do is click on it. By default, they should be in there. And if you shrink the chart, it disappears. So I can watch. See, it's gone. But when I make it bigger, it automatically appears. And the picture in picture is just an incredible piece of innovation, visually speaking. One of my favorite things. Okay, so once again, here, this one, I can say, you know what? I mean, what a beautiful signal. You got in, scaled in, riding. Remember what today's lesson is: scaling in. Okay. The volatility on these things can be crazy. But once again, if you are not putting all of your chips down right away, you really can position yourself well. This is a tough one because you're getting in here and, that's a big percentage down move. But the point I'm making is this. If the lesson you can learn from your favorite fintech CEO is that you do not need to get in big right away Test the waters. That's what the smart investors, the ones that stay in, I mean, some of them you're going to miss, but test the waters, get in 100, 200 shares. If you go in these, remember in this game, the small cap game, you're looking for hundreds of percentage points. So 200 shares, you're going to give it $200. That's a whole point. So 0.88 is your exit. Never hit that. Buy some more right here, and boom. Now your average cost drops to 130 and you're at 230. This is how it is done. I'm not doing anything here that's rocket science at all. I'm just giving you an example of basics, basic concepts that professional investors use. And today's big word that I want you to process is called scaling in. Michael, I'm going to have to dig that up, but if you shoot an email to support, I'm going to sure be able to find it for you. Okay, so I gave you all this, how to use it. Notice once again, Beam. Remember, we bought $5,000 worth, which is this right here. Now up. And you can see what we're doing, right? You can see what we're trying to catch, right? Everyone. If you can't see what the AI is trying to do, then you're missing the point of massive statistical gains. Notice the trade wave, huge sell signal right here. But if Beam continues, it's going to turn blue, and you will have gotten it beforehand. Look at the relative volume. This is the difference between our software and our competitors. This is why you subscribe to this service. So, as I said before, scaling in and looking, expecting, and trying to get hundreds of percentage points. And look at this right here. Another one. Why wouldn't it potentially go to 5? I'm not saying that it will necessarily, but you can see what it did. The entry signal right here, scale in. Now you're running. This window, very powerful. And if you're not utilizing it, you're missing a ton. Now, here's an example. Remember that it's not that this just appeared here today. This has been here. This has been showing you, hey, this is a good time to scale in. This is what these windows are some of the most powerful windows. And it's just telling you right now, it's giving you feedback that you did great. But let's look at it. Entry, just a little pull back, and boom, 100%. This is, again, what separates us from our competitors and the reason that you're subscribing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot completely. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this chart out of here. And I'm going to close this window. Oh, yeah. And we're going to go into 5-minute chart. Tell me if you guys can see my screen well. Steve, you can tell me also. I'm watching our chat. Just to make sure, I want to make sure that all the windows are visible and everything looks good. Okay, perfect. So I made a couple of windows for you guys, and I want to show you some tricks, okay? So first of all, I'm going to right-click. I'm going to save and share to the cloud. Copy. And then I'm going to paste this into the comment. This is the window. Hopefully you guys can get it. It's called Super Runner Daily. And this is a window that's called Super Runner 15 Minutes. Now, I want to tell you what differentiates this and why I wanted to bring this to your attention and what I want to show you with it. So first of all, before we jump into it, okay, let's just take a look at some of the things we see. Obviously, when your favorite fintech CEO says Super Runner Daily, you're going to get a Super Runner Daily. Okay. But this is, let's see what it is. I'm going to put this on a 15 minutes just so we can kind of see it. Boom. I mean, 2,000 relative volume. You know it's cooking. Okay. So let's right click and go to configure. And I want to show you the filters that I'm using here to make this window happen the way it's happening. This is simple. Between 1 and 50, relative volume minimum of 2, had to have traded 200,000. Okay. And position in 60-minute range is 80, and position in 20-minute range is 80. Very simple stuff. But columns. Notice I have the column count right here. And I'm using it, and I'll show you how. You can double click on any column, and it automatically sorts by that column. So here, by double clicking here, I'm sorting it by those things that are up the most over 10 days. But here, I'm sorting it by those that have the most daily highs. So what will happen is you're always now looking at the strongest momentum on top. New ones will appear, but you are looking at the strongest momentum always at the top. Look at these moves. This, you're watching new highs by count. Now, what's interesting is if you do it this way, right, you're looking at ones that just hit it. Do you see what I'm saying? Just started the move. But the filters are already positioned such that they're already strong. And now I'm doing the same thing in this one. Okay, I'm doing the same thing in this one, but I'm looking at 15-minute highs, and I'm sorting it by what's had the most 15-minute highs. So this is a really good example of just something that you probably have not thought of. And 15-minute highs has a count, and we keep track of it. And you're looking at things that have had the most 15-minute highs. And here is what's happening there. This is what you're seeing. Strength via filters. So I want to again say that it's very easy, by the way, with trade ideas. And I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to move this down a little bit. I'm going to show you something else here. So let's say, for example, I was a short trader and I wanted to do the same thing I'm doing here, but more on the short side. So I would right click, and I would select duplicate. Duplicate creates a copy of the window. So exact same copy. Okay. But it starts it over. This one has been going on. So this one, what's kind of cool is now you're seeing the things that since we just duplicated it, this is what's number one right now. But if I right click and I select configure and I go to flip, it automatically inverts all of my settings. And now I'm looking at things that are coming down. Okay. See that? So flipped Super Runner Daily is the mirror image of Super Runner Daily, but to the downside. And I can right click, duplicate here. I just did the same thing here. I duplicated it, but starting the fresh count, so you can kind of see some different things. Here we go. Very interesting stuff. And I configure. I select flip. It creates, automatically inverts the window. And now I'm looking at the 15-minute weakness. How cool is that? Without any configuration. All I did was just right click, configure, and flip. So flip is an invert function to invert things. Okay. And I'm going to finish off today. Oh, Joe, you're absolutely right. We are when the small caps are running, nobody does what we do with it. So check this out. When you have a single stock window, which is new, it's this right here, single stock window. In it, you can see, the details of a stock. Like, for example, you can put in put call ratio, put volume, call volume. I'm looking at the options volume. These are just high level examples. Profile, you can see what the company does. But check this out. Similar price patterns. So if I right click here, you can go to competitors, industry competitors, or you can go to price action. So let's take a look at what's going on here. If I go to QMCO, its price is such that it's very, like basically what it's saying, it's the one and only one that's doing what it's doing from the directional point of view. CANG, similar. TIVA, you've got Tizu, EOSE, SNT. You can see all these patterns are the same. So I'm just giving you an example that right click, price action, and you can see similar price action. So let me see if I go to Apple. I can do that. AAPL. So similar to Apple. GPAT, similar to GPAT, VCIC, SPUS. You can see all the trends. So there's all these different tips and tricks with trade ideas pattern recognition that you may not have known. So again, Loop Industries announced it expects to receive 10 million in funding. So news right here for what's going on. And what's kind of interesting here is that, this is 3 days ago, right? Big run up, pulled back hard. As I mentioned before, scaling in. Let me bring in a daily chart here. So news pulled back hard, but right click, trade loop. I'd suggest, by the way, you can left click on it and move your stop anywhere you want. So here, I suggest, if you want to get better at this, my suggestion is make at least 3 practice trades a day in your TI paper trading account. That's the only way you get feel through practice. Notice, since we've been doing this in my TI paper trading, Beam, the one that I got in with you guys, up $200 from the Trade Ideas AI. Let's move that to 15 minutes. You can see what I did. Boom. Boom. Not rocket science, you guys. This is the key. And by the way, if you don't like something, let me just show you how cool this stuff is. So I'm going to highlight these and I'm going to say flatten. Watch. Did I press it? There we go. So I just did, this is a casino move. Highlight, exit all. Now I'm just in the top 3. I'm focused on my winners. Unhide 0 positions, and you can see these are the ones that I exited. So much power here that it's really almost hard to demonstrate how much power you have. But to really take advantage of it, you've got to practice it. Okay. Let's take a look at this chart. So, gigantic move. This one. So, by the way, my personal preference is I never short stuff below $1 ever. So this one I would have played the downside, but I'm not playing it at all because I missed it. And to be honest, if anything, even on a move like this, right click, got to get long. And here you can see it. And I'm going to set my stop. So this is kind of a scaling stop type of situation. I'm getting in right here. This is a huge percentage move, that I'm willing to risk. But I'm just showing you how a pro does it. Don't think that just because it's ran up 300%, it won't continue. Oh, Bill, love to hear that. Okay. All right. I think this is pretty much everything that I wanted to cover today, scaling in. And I gave you these windows. Let me give you these if you want them so that you have the downside version. Notice, by the way, save and share, copy. You can do this with support anytime. And now you have all the same tools that I have. I love doing this stuff with you guys. I'm going to be continuing to do this on Wednesdays, and I'm going to have lots of other tips and tricks. My home monitor is really high resolution, so I want to figure out a better way to share so that you can see. I mean, you can see it clearly, but I'm going to improve this myself. Steve, I think we're pretty good for the day, unless again I can answer some more questions if you guys have them. But this is what I wanted to show you. The high level summary is use the configuration window to invert anything, sort by double clicking. So here, you can even do volume, relative volume. So these sorts are very, very powerful. And the other side of them too, because remember that sometimes seeing when it just starts is an advantage as well. No, TradeWave, Sergio, TradeWave is in both the web-based product and all right, let me do something real quick. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna close my Trade Ideas Pro. I'm gonna show you something cool. Okay. No, I'm not gonna save it. Okay, you guys are seeing my beautiful screen. Tell me if you can see my monitor well. I'm going to give you a little demo here. Hold on. Okay. So you see this? Okay, Bill. This is the next big innovation that we're bringing to market, which is the trade ideas money machine. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to have it auto trade for you. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking a biggest gainers top list, and I'm going to get into 3 positions, but a max of 5. My exit is about 4%. And this stuff is not that important. But what's really cool here is reverse on protective stop. That means that it'll automatically switch directions. And I'm going to take profit if from my profits I'm down 3%. So I'm going to move down here, hit save. Oops. And I'm going to go short because a lot of these, and again, this is paper trading mode, but watch. This is what's coming. Fully automated trading. I'm not doing anything now, but what I call watching and enjoying the show. So let's take a look at what it's doing. Okay. So notice, just shorted 970 shares of Quantum. And the reason that I'm using and picking this as an example is that a lot of these, there are great ones that run, but a lot of them pull back also. And here, I'm showing you a preview of what's coming. So Joe, no, this is a custom build that I have, but this is coming out very, very soon in January. We're doing testing. We're finishing some of the testing aspects of it because this is a fully automated system that not only gets you in, but gets you out and reverses. And this is what before I started doing my presentation with you guys, this is what it did. Went as high as I think 2,900, and this is where it is right now. And just watch what it does. Take a look. Like a machine, all the stops are in. You can't see everything, but this is one of the coolest things that I have ever seen. Boom. This strategy that I'm employing is a volatility hunter, basically. Look at this thing since I've turned it on. And these are the things that you probably would never be able to do by hand, but we have created the Tesla auto driver for you. This is the example. Oh, QNTM trading was halted. So check it out. Just got halted. We got notified, and the system got us short before the halt. I mean, I don't know what that'll mean, but let's take a look at that under the 2 minutes and see what happened. And it's continuing to get in and out of different stocks. So these are the share, how much you're short, and I'm shorting $5,000 worth. Okay. The idea here is, as you know, Trade Ideas is run by people who actually trade. And we want to help you get and be able to do things that you can't do by hand. And one of the problems is emotional money management, but we have systematically programmed that in. And you won't have this exact complicated user interface, but this is kind of like our programming language for it. Trailing stop settings, all automated, but see like how I can adjust it. And what I love showing you is just what I've been able to do just since you've looked at it, so that you can see what is possible, the potential. Notice exiting by itself, by unhide 0 positions. This is all the money management, doing it all, taking profits, all sorts of stuff, all happening behind the scenes. So Joe, let me explain this. In Trade Ideas Pro, the application that I was showing you earlier, okay, you can create additional accounts for paper trading. And so that is where what you see in terms of this account. I just created this as an extra account instead of TI paper trading because TI paper trading is where I do different things. So these MM2 is what we call money machine, but it's not super programming. I literally created this. And in Trade Ideas Pro, you can go in and you can add a simulated trading account, and that's all that is. You could be JS1, you know, JS2, JS3. So what I'm doing for testing, and I'm kind of giving you guys a look under the hood. What I want to hopefully show you here before we, I have 6 minutes, and what I want to hope, and interestingly enough, it's just doing a good job making money. But if it gets stopped out of some stuff, it'll reverse by itself, and that's sort of what I wanted to show you, right? Because you have this, I have the settings set right here. Reverse on protective stop. So that means if I get stopped out, it's not only getting me out, it's going long. So that you can also catch the gigantic moves too. So okay, this thing is so like this thing isn't afraid of anything. It's shorted. I mean, and obviously you guys know this is practice, right? So this is not live, but think about the mechanics of what it's doing. So it's got short NUKK, which is probably nothing that I would ever do myself. But, in terms of working out, in terms of seeing the mechanics and learning, there's no better example than learning it through this. Probably going to be down 2 points in a minute when it opens up because it's halted. QNTM is halted and NUKK is halted, and you are in both of the halts. Jim, this is going to go live in January. We already had the first 100 people waiting list. So this is going to cost an additional $2,000 a year for this fully automated trading system that will do what it's doing here for you on your own. The waiting list got taken in under an hour. So there's going to be another one, but the price is going to be a little bit higher. But in January, and look, QNTM just got unhalted, and now we're up $368, 417. Love that you guys see this in all the halts. I mean, come on. Okay, Jim. So you're good. You're good. So this is what you're, but what I'm showing you is this is what you bought. I mean, we haven't collected the money for it, but this is what you are paying for. It's going to be, the live of this is going to look very similar to what you are seeing here. And all I want to do is try to catch, okay, and it just took profits in quantum. Love it. Okay, Steve, I think we're good. I love being able to show you this. The money machine is just something I'm the most excited about because so much fun. So much fun. Steve, what do I need to do? I'm not exactly sure. Jim, I thought that it did trade it. I mean, when I was looking at my replay, it looked like it did it. But remember, the money machine is in full test mode right now. And the things that you trade are things that you would put in the list yourself. So you have a lot of control over things in there that and it would be easy to filter something like NUKK out in all sorts of different ways. But by the way, look at it right now. The short sell at 33.10 up 240. Down. I mean, that thing is so volatile. You can be down 500 in an instant. But okay, Steve, I think we're good. Everyone, I really appreciate you guys watching me do this and giving you these demos. Super fun. And I can't wait to keep doing it. And yeah, Jim, I mean, the emotions are the key. The people, I want to really I want to finish with this analogy. And if you can get it, you're going to learn so much from this one session. Amateurs in stock trading play poker, but every single time they play, they go all in. And, you could win once, but that's just not how it happens. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. And, love showing you what's under the hood. I will see you next Wednesday. And yeah, well, Iris, you're going to learn. Keep coming back. It'll get better and better and better. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Talk to you soon.